According to the list of issues today, we are learning more about the Hillcrest Event Center's numerous legal and financial problems over the years, foreclosures and bankruptcies and criminal convictions related to loans and the center's owners. TV6 investigator Mark Stevens joins us now. Mark, in addition to the history, the state has cited the pool for yet another violation here.
Gary, the State Department of Public Health spokesperson says they had an inspector out at the Hillcrest Event Center pool yesterday inspecting that pool, and it failed once again, this time for having expired drain safety covers, so the pool must remain closed. Now, I also asked that spokesperson if the state is going to have any other pending charges or citations related to the drowning from over the weekend. She told me that she couldn't comment on any future matters. But when we looked into the owners and the history, we found fraud and prison time. Is there a sign that's supposed to be up that says pool closed?
Not really. The resort isn't even open yet. We're only open we had campers and stuff here, but that's it.
This is Hillcrest Event Center General Manager Dan Kost. When I asked how he spelled his last name, he said K-O-S-T. It's really K-O-S-T-H, because under that name, you find this: a criminal conviction for making false statements to a government agency. The court record tells this story. Dan Kost bought the place back in 1992, but he didn't tell the two other co-investors that he had recently been released from federal prison for financial fraud. The court found Dan signed the deed, put his interest in the resort in his wife Terry's name, and negotiated the purchase of the property. In 1993, severe rains damaged Hillcrest. He needed money for repairs and knew the Small Business Administration was offering disaster assistance loans. He applied, but didn't list himself as a manager. Remember, he hid his ownership. The Small Business Administration approved a $190,000 loan. This is where the court says Kost got tripped up. Hillcrest needed to repay another bank loan, but didn't have the money to do so. Kost used his construction company to repair Hillcrest, paid for with the disaster loan. He kept $70,000 as profit. He gave that money to his wife. She gave it back to Hillcrest and used it to repay the other bank loan. The feds caught on. A federal jury convicted Kost for making false statements. He was sent back to prison for 46 months and ordered to pay $129,000 in restitution. Now the Small Business Administration is trying to collect on the $190,000 mortgage loan. Court records say Hillcrest defaulted back in 2008. Company president Terry Kost says the restitution her husband paid should cover that amount. She also says she applied to the SBA to ask for the loan to be forgiven. Hillcrest was damaged by storms again in 2008. Terry says business declined and banks wouldn't give Hillcrest a new mortgage. She says she put Hillcrest up for sale for 3 years with no buyers. Terry says she also did everything SBA asked to have the loan forgiven and claims SBA dragged its feet. The case is still ongoing.
Now, both Terry and Dan Kost have filed for bankruptcy protection several times, sometimes individually and sometimes for companies that they own. Now, the Hillcrest Event Center filed for bankruptcy in 2012. In 2013, that case was dismissed, but for a reason that we can't see on the federal court's website. We'll continue digging into those bankruptcy court records. Live in the newsroom, Mark Stevens, KWQC, TV6 News.
Speaking findings there, Mark, thank you. The Henry County Sheriff's Department, meanwhile, says they are still investigating Tyler John's death. If you have a story for Mark to investigate, give us a call or send an email or visit us on social media. The information is there on your screen.